What's up, Rivet War fans? My name is Lieutenant Nathaniel Flint of the Landship Scorpios, and today we're talking about something you guys might have noticed in some of my videos. That's right, when I do some Rivet War videos and when I've done some shots and pictures of events and maybe some just pictures in general, you guys may have noticed that I'm not exactly using the bunkers associated with the game, with the 3D tile pack or anything else. I've got stuff that looks a little bit more flashy. And today, that's what we're talking about. These little Rivet War houses, they're little wooden houses and stuff, made by Midgard Creative Studios. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. First off, I'm going to give an overall, then I'm going to talk about each house individually. They're very nice little laser cut wooden houses that come in pieces. I've also got footage of me putting them together, so I hope that'll act as sort of a tutorial for you. I know that I had a little bit of confusion when I put it together, and then I'm going to give, again, my final thoughts a second time. Let's start off with an overall. I love how these came out. I am not very creative. A lot of people have noticed I don't paint my miniatures. I'm not very crafty. I don't really do anything. Even these houses, if you look at the pictures that he has online for what you can do with them, and then what I'm probably going to show you today, and what I have in, like what I've been using, I'm not doing a whole lot of. I kind of want to stain them. I think that will look good, but they kind of have a good burnt look to them right now that I really enjoy. But I'm not very creative, so the fact that I was able to do these, normal miniatures, creative people will probably have an easier time doing it. I thought it was great. They came out looking good, so let's just jump right into it. First, I'm going to start off with the basic houses, or as he calls them on their website, if you're going to go look them up, the basic bunkers. These were rather simple. I might cut in and out of me making them. They just came with 4 walls and a floor. I glued them together with wood glue, and that has worked fantastic. They stick together quite well. Most of them come with a little area with like windows. You also get a door. I think most of mine came with a door. They kind of look like they're shot out and burned up. If you look at the pictures on his website, which I'm assuming he won't be mad if I post here, they look really good. He did some things with paint and texturing them to make them look like concrete, and they came out looking just completely different. They look amazing. They're very impressive. They look just like a concrete structure. Mine I've kept as like the burned out building, and I've been using those in place of normal bunkers. I really enjoy how they look. They definitely give a lot of life to the game at events. I'm noticing a lot of people notice it a lot quicker, and they look great in combination with the other buildings we'll talk about. So these are the basic ones. I think they come in 4 different variations. When I got these, my fiance was so great. She got me them for Christmas a while ago, and she got me 2 of each of the bunkers. So if you're looking at my photos or you're at an event or something, I do have multiples, but I have like 2 of each. So I have a lot of these. They're decent for the price that you get for them. I heavily suggest these if you just want to add some flair. If you're more creative and you paint and you know how to do all that, there's a lot that you can do with these. Look at his reference photos and his little tutorial. You can make these look like beautiful concrete structures, and they're pretty good. So I 100% recommend this. The next one I want to talk about sticks out like a sore thumb in my videos, mostly because of the color. It's his hospital that he has. I love this hospital. I love how it looks. Let me kind of show it off, the end product there a little bit. So this is a beautiful one as well. It's another one that's pretty simple. It's the first one that I put together that involved the windows that he does. And I love these windows, but we'll jump right into that with the video of me putting it together. So it comes with a little plastic hospital, which I'd be very gentle with. Mine fell apart when I took it out, but I think it's supposed to come in one piece. You just glue that into its place. It comes with 2 hospital crosses, which are fantastic. The windows were, I love how these windows are done. If he does more videos and stuff, or more buildings with these style of windows. So he's got 2 window frames that you glue on, but in between them you glue in it's a piece of cut glass that looks like shattered glass. And it's a great effect. This building, and I believe the factory building uses them, and they are absolutely fantastic. I love how they look. They always bring a good eye. I love how the brickwork works on the hospital. It really works together very well. And that red of hospital just helps it stick out so much compared to the other buildings, and it really makes it a thing. A beautiful thing. Again, he has a good paint job of a recommended paint work that helps it stick out even more. Mine, I'm probably just going to keep like this if I don't end up staining it. I think a red stain for the brickwork would look pretty good. But for the most part, keeping it bare looks decent. It matches the rest of the buildings, and it also kind of sticks out very nicely. This is very good. I would love if there was some type of thing. I'm going to be looking at it in the future. Some friends of mine have a laser cutter as well, about making something that the flags can stick in, so I could make it a strategic objective that you got to control the hospital. That's going to be a big thing with most of these ones, but as it comes, it wasn't too hard. It's a little bit more advanced with the way the windows work and getting the right glue to stick on the hospital and stuff. But as long as I don't play with it, the wood glue I use works just fine. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's held up, and I brought this to a few events, and it helped turn heads. So that's really good. So thank you so much. That's the hospital. The next one I'm going to talk about is the showstopper of the buildings. It's the one that everyone sees in pictures and stuff and makes them want to buy from Midgard Creative Studios. It's definitely the showstopper. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's the windmill. This was super fun to figure out how to put together. In hindsight, looking back at it, it wasn't all that hard. Me doing it by myself with wood glue, it took me a while to figure out how I was going to do it. I think the hardest part was actually this roof. But you have the little windmill, you take the roof off, so it's easier to get inside of it. The windmill bit itself comes off. It looks great. I don't know how much in my games I'm actually going to use it as something that people can go into. It's a little awkward. The blades make it hard for the planes to fly around. That could be something you want to play with in your game, where the planes can't access the two spots in front of the windmill because of the blades. This could be extremely strategic in the middle of the map if you were playing a very plane heavy game. But it looks beautiful. I usually almost always have it set up on the side because it just looks great, especially on a tile that is just barren, so it looks like a farmland. Just put this off the side of the game board just for looks, and it really adds to it. It's definitely a showstopper. This is the one people online talk about. Midgard Creative Studios' stuff. Let me go over real quick how to build it. I'm not sure if I've been running that footage this time or not. But I started with the walls, trying to put up the walls. I may not have started with that. You got to put up the walls. With that, there are these door frames. You don't know what to do with them. So there's a longer one that you put on top, and then there are two shorter ones. You got to put the longer ones on first because the shorter ones won't reach the bottom without that. So you put the longer ones on top first, sideways as I'm showing in the video. And you put the two shorter ones on. Then when you build the roof was a bit of a pain as well. You gotta glue everything onto the roof slats first. So I started with one side, I glue on my things and made that fine. And then I would put the other side of the roof on last, as you're seeing. I did not have to put my windmill together. The actual blades, it came pre-done, so I'm very happy with that, because if you look at what the windmill actually looks like, it is extremely complicated. In hindsight, looking at his directions online, I'm not sure if that was meant to be. I'm not sure if he did it for me because it was special or he had one pre-made. I'm not sure if it's supposed to come pre-made. Mine did, and I thank God for it. With that, that's basically all there is to say about the windmill. It is a beautiful piece. Again, look at his pictures about painting it up. It will look great and add some flair to your game. I personally think it's a little bit hard to get units in and out of it and still have it, you know, look decently. And I'm not sure if I would use it as a strategic objective where I want units to go to. But that is your decision. I've been using most of these buildings as bunkers. And I use the windmill just as decoration. But it is fantastic, it's very good for its price, and it's definitely a showstopper. It makes people look, and it adds some good flair to your game. The next one I want to talk about is actually my favorite building out of all of them. I am 100% going to be buying more of these sometime in the future and making them correct. I love the look at this. I actually screwed mine up, so if you notice that it looks a little funky, it's because I was a little confused putting this together and I glued some things on incorrectly. But that is what he calls the library. It is a beautiful little wooden structure. I love the brickwork, but I love the pieces I got that made it look like it was stonework entrances and everything. I glued some of mine incorrectly onto the inside, which really made this one a little wonky. That was my own fault. It was quite easy. It's just like a normal house. I did mine side by side, where I glued the rock pieces on the sides first, and then I glued all the house sides together. You could probably get away with gluing the entire house together and then gluing the pieces on the side. I also had an issue where mine didn't exactly fit. It looked like it was kind of cut a little weird. I'm not sure if I'm showing how I put it together, but I want to show that real quick. So it looks like there's a bit of a gap underneath the door frame there. But it's not the end of the world. It still looks extremely impressive. It is my favorite building out of all of them. I definitely want to order at least 3 more of these and make them correctly this time. It was one of the easier ones to do, and I was highly impressed with it. I really liked how this all came together. And the last one I want to talk about is the people I play with. It's one of their favorite ones. They really like the concept idea for this one. It was the most fun to put together, I honestly believe, because it's decently simple. That's the factory. Let me show that to you. It is a giant 4-grid building that he makes, and it is absolutely wonderful. It was a blast to put these together. It uses the window things we've talked about back in the with the hospital. I loved it. We can switch to some footage of me putting it together. Again, it was pretty decent. I did the windows first, I believe, gluing one frame on, letting it dry, gluing the inside of the frame, putting the glass in, and then gluing the other side to have them all dry together. I put up the walls. The walls do have a specific way they go. This is another one that didn't fit quite perfectly when I put it together. I wasn't sure if it was something I did or not, but at the end when it was all glued together, it looks fine and it works fine, and it's held up, again, going to events and playing it and doing photo shoots. I love how he broke it up into the grids. I love how the floor is really damaged, which helps break it up into the 4 grids that you see. Let me get that close for you. Yeah, I love how that works. In our games, we've used this very rarely, but what we've done is that if you're not in those 4 grids and you're outside of it, it offers the bunker protection. But when you're inside those grids and you're like in the same building, it doesn't offer that protected for grid-to-grid fighting inside the building. I really like how that works. If we're doing building rules, with the Landship Scorpius building rules that are fan-made rules by me on the forums, that would work as a much bigger room that they need to get into. I really liked how that one came across. Again, it was really easy to put together, and it was actually really fun to see it come together and be the end piece. I really like it. It's probably the most unique out of all of them, and it's absolutely fantastic and a blast to have. It looks good on the map, and it just feels good to have it all together and to make a giant battlefield, like an urban battlefield with all these buildings together. And that one definitely stands apart as a beautiful landmark. And with that, that's all the buildings I bought from him. I think that's all the ones that are available. I got them as a Christmas gift, so thank you so much to my fiance who bought those for me. She also kind of helped me with some of the logistics works of putting them together. Again, I'm not very crafty, so I had a difficult time putting these together. I hope that my videos of me putting them together helped you guys out to kind of visualize that yourselves. If there's extra time, or if I need extra time, I probably left some silence or some music playing while I finish that up. That's all I have. My end thoughts on it is I completely recommend this to anyone who plays a lot of Rivet Wars and who really likes it. It's a nice way to spruce up the battlefield, to make it feel and look different, but also to make it feel and look more epic and authentic. If you play Rivet Wars at events and you're going to go to an event and do a tournament, or if you just want to set up and play and introduce people to the game, these buildings are a lot more impressive than just the plastic 3D bits, and definitely better than the ones that are just out with the base game, the small flat tiles. I did not get rid of mine. I still use the secret objective markers for the flags, so I don't use these buildings as strategic objectives. But I do use them as bunkers, and it makes sense and it looks nice. It just adds some flair to the board and to the game. If you have painting skills and everything and you can customize them a little bit, that's fantastic. If you want to pick up these for yourself, I will have the link down below. Again, that's Midgard Creative Studios. These are fantastic. If you don't want to buy one, if they're a little out of your price range, or if they're just not for you, that's fine. Still show them some love. Thank them for the effort that went into designing and making these available to the fans of the game. Let them know how great that was and how impressed you are with these buildings. Let them know, thank you for the effort, thank you for the love towards the game that you have given it. As I've said before, they're not with the base game, but you might still see them in some of my videos. I use them as bunkers, I've enjoyed having them, and they've started popping up in my videos and in my photo shoots. So don't be surprised if you see those. I'll try to link to them whenever I can in other videos. But yeah, if you like them, Midgard Creative Studios, look them up and go ahead and purchase them. And with that, that's all the time I have for today. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. We have more Rivet Wars videos. Do feel free to check those out. If Rivet Wars is not your thing, I do have other steampunk themed videos. You can go check out steampunk events, just me talking about steampunk topics, as well as World Hatchery 101. I am trying to do some more things with other types of videos. I am also covering the Ruska expansion that was just announced, so there will be more Rivet Wars videos, and there will also be some more non-Rivet Wars videos coming out, trying to cover my bases. And with that, thank you so much. Make sure to show love to Rivet Wars on their social medias, on Facebook and Twitter for Rivet Wars and Super Robot Punch. And thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.